Good morning, Kathy. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Hey, I'm
Awesome.
super excited about today.
It is cool.
So,
Yeah,
the
it's
Alberta
cool.
Women's Independence Network, we are starting a new video series. And we're calling it, see, you have to remember, I'm going to look at my note, make sure I get this right. X Factor Female Voices of Alberta Independence.
Yep.
And this is our very first episode. We are in collaboration with the Alberta Nation Directory, which is a fabulous resource for people
Mhm.
that want to know anything about Alberta independence that is happening around the province. They keep wonderful tabs on the different events and those types of things that are happening all around the province. And so if you're ever wondering, like, hey, what's happening in Ponoka, or Wetaskiwin or wherever, like, you can
Yeah.
go onto their website and find out, and they just do a wonderful job. So we're going to actually, in the show notes, we will include their website so
Mhm.
people can go to their website. But this little project is in collaboration with them. Um, and these videos they're just going to be short videos, but I'm super excited because the best part about this is that we're going to be talking to different women all across the province
Yeah.
about why do they support Alberta independence? What are their reasons? What are they doing to promote the message of Alberta independence? What are some of their fears, or what are their greatest hopes around Alberta
Mhm.
independence? And I just think we're going to have some really fabulous conversations,
I
so I'm
agree.
really looking forward to that.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yes, and it's just it's a conversation, and we haven't like pre-prepped these ladies or anything really, rather than to just kind of let them know, kind of the idea, the topic, which is pretty obvious why they're coming on here,
Mhm.
because that's pretty much all we talk about is Alberta independence.
It
Um,
is.
yeah. So any opinions that are expressed are just like totally
Ours.
the opinions of who is expressing them, right?
That's right. Yep.
Um, and like anything, we will not always find 100% agreements.
Mm-mm.
And that's always the point of our meetings as we go across the province as well, is to just have that conversation and to be talking about all the different aspects of Alberta independence, what it could or could not be, those types of things. So I am going to let you kind of take it from here because um, I just met our first guest, but
Yeah.
you have known her for quite a while. So I'm just going to let you take it from there.
Absolutely. So I just when we first started talking about this idea, I sat down and came up with a list of names of ladies that I just thought we had to talk to. And I'm going to be honest, she was at the top of the list. First person that came to my mind, like, yeah, she's just a powerhouse. Not even just within the independence movement, although that's huge, like, obviously, but she has jumped in with both feet into politics and gotten
Mhm.
her and her husband both a uh, have turned into political animals, and it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to get to know her, and when you see her stuff online, like, she's feisty, right? She's just amazingly feisty and gets right in there and gets in on the scrapping, and then you meet her in person and you're going, oh my goodness, all of that energy came out of you, like, it's so I was shocked when somebody pointed her out to me for the first time. I was like, man, that woman's got it going on. And she's just this little petite girl. Like, so it shows that it doesn't matter. You don't have to be this big burly voice to get out there. You don't have to be anybody but yourself. And
Mhm.
that is exactly who Bonnie is. And so it is just my honor and privilege to introduce her to the rest of the world in a bigger and better way, because she deserves that introduction and deserves the stage to just be able to share with us how, why, what are you doing, why would you get into this snake pit that is in politics. So let's bring her on and let her share her story.
Sounds good.
Hi there, girls. That is
Good.
quite an introduction. Thank you so much. That
You're
is very
welcome.
kind. That's very kind.
I meant every word. I meant every word.
It's yeah, sometimes it's hard for me to put a filter on myself, even though I've gotten a little better. But yeah, where would I start? you kind of want to know what made me interested in joining all this stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know
Yeah, okay.
what happened.
I I I can actually pinpoint it to a moment, I think, where it's almost a moment of rebirth, a moment of realizing that Canada is not what I thought it was. And that was my birthday, February 18th of 2022, when Stompy the horses ran over that grandmother with a walker in Ottawa. And then Ottawa police said someone threw a bike at their horses. I knew it was over.
Hmm.
And I almost kind of died inside. It still hurts. And at that point, actually, there were people at my workplace, even though we weren't supposed to gather. We started gathering at a local woman's house, talking about what we could do, and that that sort of faded away quickly because nothing we were doing was working. But then certain community groups rose up, and one of them was Alberta Prosperity Project, and of course, and one was Take Back Alberta. That's almost a dirty phrase to say now. But those two organizations had actual actionable plans on
Hmm.
ways we could make our future better. So Take Back Alberta taught me about the political structure in Alberta and what we can do as citizens, which are things we should have been doing all along.
Hmm.
And Alberta Prosperity Project um, showed that this independence thing it's not so crazy. It's actually doable too. And with every year, it just keeps building and building and building. Uh, the the tyranny, the corruption, and I just can't imagine laying down and taking it. Will we succeed? I don't know, but that's what got me started. And I've seen now that when groups of citizens get together, they can make things happen. And actually, even the odd social media post can make things happen.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
stay involved, be strategic. Um, there are countries in the world who have had unilateral recognition from three countries, and all of a sudden they're independent. We can do this. We can do this. With the exact path that it takes may vary, but I want to stay the course and make sure it happens because my kids, they shouldn't live like they're living. They're
Yeah.
struggling. I mean, there's one who has really good training, but the other one's not so much. And they're having to lower their expectations of what they can expect in this world. When I was growing up, I knew that if you worked hard enough, you could you could get somewhere.
Hmm.
If you worked two jobs, you would get extra money, get some training, and then you would achieve something. Those days are gone. And so that's a bit of a gloomy introduction, but that's sort of where I started with it.
Well, it might be gloomy, but at the same time, I also feel a lot of resolve coming from you, Bonnie.
Hmm.
It reminded me of a conversation that I had just recently with somebody where we were talking about Alberta independence, and they said, I just don't see this ending well, talking about if Alberta was to become independent. And I said, I don't see Canada ending well. So it really comes down to two choices. Either we can remain on the ship that's going down, or we can do our darndest to get on that lifeboat, which is Alberta independence. And your
Mhm.
story really touched me about like feeling like you died inside. I've had similar feelings where it's like last night my husband and I were listening to a song called Canadian Girls,
Hmm.
and it was like I grew up as a Canadian girl, as a proud Canadian girl, and yet my heart breaks for my country and for what it has become and where it's headed. But we do have a hope here. And so yeah, you say it's gloomy, but I also see that glimmer of hope with you.
Mm, good. Yeah, that's sort of where it started off. And somewhere around that time, I don't even know if I can put a month on it. Uh, our local group of friends started Pinoka chapter of Alberta Prosperity Project, and it's been kind of the Wild West, the way we run it. But we're a very local or a very dedicated group of friends, and ideally we meet twice a month, and we have for quite like years now. And
Wow.
we support one another, and it's good. It's good to have them. It's good to have that support.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. What have you found to be, so it's been about 3.5-ish years now, almost 4 years that you died inside, but then you were sort of reborn. And I love that analogy, actually. I love that analogy. What has been the biggest challenge? I guess I'll use challenge. What's been the biggest challenge in that time for you personally on this journey of figuring out where we've got to go and how we need to get there?
Um, it's a challenge that my own kids who went to public school system believe the mainstream narrative, so I don't have their support. And I don't know if they're going to watch this or not, but that's doing this without their support is kind of rough. Another
Yeah.
challenge is convincing the public to get on board and tell them that we can do this with numbers. Because especially in towns and urban centers, they say it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how you vote, nothing ever happens. And then the municipal votes are 20% turnout and things like this. And I tell you, when we got Jason Kenney out in the leadership review, I knew that numbers were the ticket. I knew it. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. And so maybe some people didn't see that. But yeah, those are the biggest challenges, is maybe not having support of friends and family that you used to have support from. And the other thing is trying to get through to people is a big challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's like there's this wall, right, of false information, because that's really what it is, that we're trying to break through to help people to see that, you know what, like, just sit down and let's have this conversation. I don't want to get into an argument with you. Let's just have the conversation. And people won't. They're like, oh no, I just think it can't happen, so therefore it can't happen. It's like, well, okay. How much longer do we need to wait before more and more and more people are hurting before we can put a stop to this? And that's kind of what hurts my heart is we know what the future holds and can't get enough people to see it yet.
Yeah. Well, it is a fact that a lot of the movers and shakers in the political scene are donors. They're doing it with money. They're doing it with high-powered deals, backroom deals. But what we have is numbers. What we have is numbers, and that's I think behind the push of Thomas Lukaszik's recall petitions and things. It's illegal for him to have that contact info, but it's a fine of $10,000. So that's the cost of doing business. So yeah, the contacts the people.
That's
That
true.
is powerful. That is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
We need to get ourselves organized.
Yeah, we do.
Because
I agree.
that is just as powerful as having a lot of money, if not more so.
Well, I think it's even more so. Because the people with the money think that their money is going to get them what they want. But when you've got the people, that's a very different commodity. It's a very different commodity.
Yes. And you know what? That reminds me of a book called Everybody But the People. That was written about an election that was held in the Lower Mainland.
Yes,
you remember that one, Kathy?
I
That
do.
was held in the Lower Mainland of BC. And I can't remember exactly what the issue. It was on a referendum. There was an issue, something about giving the transit authority like billions more dollars or something like that. And this small group, these two people in an office with a couple of computers, they were up against like these huge corporate organizations and the Suzuki Foundation. I think there was like 30 some municipalities involved and 25 or something like that, different organizations that had a lot of money, a lot of backing, all against this one little group. And they said, yeah, everyone but the people. That's what these guys had with the money. But in the end, it was the people's voices and just an appeal to reason. They
Yeah.
just had to get the facts to them. And they used fun messaging and tactics to get that information to the people, which I think it is a numbers game. It definitely is, Bonnie. And it's how do we create a message in Alberta that will reach the maximal number of people? Well, it can't be the same message over and over again, because you're just going to keep reaching the same people over and over again. But it's as we have different groups, such as ours, creating different forms of messaging to get to the people that we're going to reach. We're going to reach those numbers. And, you know, I have a lot of hope, but I think it comes from a little bit of a weird place, is because all we have to do is look at what the federal government is doing, and they, in many cases, are doing the work of Alberta independence. You know, when they drop a budget like they did last week, oh my goodness. Okay, we've got more supporters. Every time David Eby opens his mouth and says no pipelines coming through BC, okay, we've got more supporters. So I have hope, and I have quite the confidence that we're going to get there.
I think I would like to read that book. That sounds amazing. And I sort of see that happening here in Alberta too. We this spring, all the unions in Alberta have joined an official coalition, and they're all tagging up on us and the UCP. And thing is how like 60% of UCP members, so when they're ganging up on the UCP, they're ganging up on the independence effort as well.
Yeah.
And all of them, and now they're bringing in unions from federal unions to try to fight us. That is what we're onto something when that kind of thing happens.
Oh yeah.
So be encouraged and stay the course, because I do believe we can do this.
I agree.
I do.
So what has been the most fun experience that you've had so far, Bonnie, with this whole journey towards Alberta independence? What's been the most fun thing?
How this sounds really geeky. I think definitely meeting all the people and making those connections, the grassroots connections. But I get a charge out of making the acquaintance of the politicians that we see on the news, making the news, and knowing that they know me on a first name basis. And I was like, oh, I know that minister. He's actually really good. He's a really good representative of the people. Or that one is a turd. He's in the pocket of big aggro or whatever. I get a charge out of knowing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
And
a bit of a chess game.
Yeah. So it's been fun feeling like I'm a part of it, I guess, is what it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you've bridged, because there is a gap. I tell people all the time, this is a political problem. We're going to need a political solution, but that also means we're going to need the people to push this over the line. And it sounds like you've really been able to bridge that gap to show, well, the regular people can get involved, and you're going to have to get to know who these politicians are at the very least. Maybe not, on a first name basis, but you're going to have to learn the system and who's who in the zoo and what they're all about, so that we can navigate our way out of this in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, I would add to that people need to prioritize it too. Like if there's a constituency association annual general meeting, or or the big one at the end of this month, the party AGM, people, that's important as a wedding. That's as important as a graduation. That's our chance to be heard. That's our chance to make a difference. And people, they need to work. And Tim Hoven talks about 20 hours. What was it? 20 hours a month would be ideal, but even that's more than most people need to give. You have to accommodate being politically involved in your life. Be there for the nomination election. Be there for the CA AGM when they're putting the board together, which is hopefully you're on it. I could ramble on, but I think I'm seeing we're at half an hour. The mechanism of taking Jason Kenney out was, as Kathy knows, through constituency associations.
Yes.
Every MLA has a constituency association surrounded with them. People like us with voices can be heard. We can use those. 22, actually, I think it ended up being 24 constituency associations were necessary to call for a leadership review of Jason Kenney. So all the members in the in the province got to vote, yes or no. And boy, he pulled out all the stops. He pulled out all the stops, and he's gone. We did that. We did that. Grassroots people did that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the money to do it. That was what TBA was created to do, was to raise awareness for that. And it kind of grew into political, be politically involved message. And now we don't see too much from them anymore, but it has created a a lot of us have moved over and used those with the Alberta Prosperity Project to try to promote it. So, but anyway, yeah, I guess the long and short of it is accommodated it in your life. It has to be accommodated in your lifestyle. And it is as important as a vacation or a wedding.
Yeah.
To
I like
show
how
up at
you
these
worded
votes.
that. Yeah, I like how you worded that. It has to be accommodated in your lifestyle. That's true. It's true. I really like how you worded that, because some people will just say, "Oh, well, yeah, I watch the news." Oh, okay. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with what you just learned? Right? You don't just sit there on it and wait for somebody else to do something. You got to get
That's
up
right.
and you got to get up and do
You
something.
do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. And I
Come on
think,
in the
Bonnie,
water. Yeah.
come in the water, exactly. And I think
Come in
too,
the
we
water.
also have to recognize that just because we're all on the same side or even on the same page, or however you want to word that or visualize that, doesn't mean we're going to agree on every single item that
No.
we're talking
No.
about. And that's okay. I think people get caught up in, oh, well, if I'm going to be a part of this or a part of that, then I've got to agree with every single bullet point on their website or that they talk about. And that's not true. That's not true at all. We could, like, we're still in a discussion stage. We have not had a constitutional convention yet. So nothing is in stone. It's just still all ideas that are being batted around and tossed about and thought about and talked about.
No, exactly. What it boils down to is, do you see the corruption and are you tired of it? Let's do something about it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Exactly right. And Bonnie, as we're closing down, because we don't want to take up all of your day, because I know that I don't know when you sleep, honestly, because you're so on the go and busy. What is, because a lot of people, also women, I think maybe especially, kind of have this false ideology in their minds that they have to have achieved certain um points in their lives or standards or education or this or that or whatever sort of limiting beliefs they put upon themselves before they can jump into the fray and get involved. I have no qualifications to get involved in this, and I tell people that all the time, other than I can talk a lot and I can read and I can understand what I'm reading. That those are my qualifications, and I can communicate that. So what was it like? What is your background? Help people to know what is your background that brought you here. What pays the bills?
I have nothing special in my background. I did go to college to take some Bachelor of Education training before I realized the education system wasn't where I wanted to spend my life. And then I got my MRS and kind of went from there. And I've always done service oriented work since that time.
Yeah.
Um, that's really about it. Uh, if you have an inner mama bear who wants to make a change, that's really your qualification.
Love it.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well said. I think that's a perfect spot to land this plane. That is well
Yeah.
said.
Excellent.
Yeah. Bonnie, you're outstanding. I just love you, and I'm so glad we've met.
Oh,
And
thank you. You're gonna
yeah.
make me. You're making me reclumped.
Aw,
I love it.
I
Talking
mean,
Well,
amongst
thank you.
yourselves.
oh. And I will get
Well,
to see you soon because you'll be at the AGM as well.
yes, thank you for doing this because Max and I are doing some board candidate interviews, and I have not introduced myself at all. I'm not interested in introducing myself for these interviews because that's not the point of the interviews. So if people want to know more about me, I can direct them to this video.
There you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Bonnie, you're all over social media. You're easy to track down on Facebook. You're on X, and now you're going to be on different videos with us here, and then with Max when you do those ones. So it's gonna be good. You can be a star.
Sounds good. Sounds good. This is hard for me because I don't like doing video appearances. I have a face made for radio, but I have something to say, so here I am.
And we're happy to hear it.
Yes, your voice is needed and important.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, girls. Keep up
You're
the good work.
welcome. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there
Cool.
we go, Kathy. So
Isn't
there's
she
our first
awesome?
episode. She's awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I want to spend more time with her.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. She's amazing. And one of many. We've got some more coming that we'll be reaching out to in the coming weeks. So every Monday you're going to meet another Albertan woman, and find out what's going on in our heads. How come we're part of this? What makes us tick? What makes us get out of bed in the morning to continue jumping into this snake pit that is politics? And it does feel like a snake pit sometimes, but you meet some really, really awesome people on the way, which is what keeps us going.
Absolutely, 100%.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, you have a great week.
Okay, take care.